It's just a kind of a reminder that it doesn't have to be a big aha or a big God moment. It's just one of those things that God is pursuing you and it kind of creeps up on you. Hebrews 6:19, this hope we have as an anchor for the soul is both strong and steadfast. Hi, I'm Alyssa Campbell. I've been coming to CCLF for 6 years now. When I was little, we lived in Lac La Hache, so we actually came to CCLF then as well when I was about 5. I have felt like I wanted to share my testimony for a really long time now, but it makes me really nervous, so I know that it's not for me, and I know that it's God wanting me to do this. I grew up in a Christian home. I'm the oldest of 5 kids. We went to church every Sunday. I was baptized when I was 11, and I did all the things. I went to youth group, youth conferences, and even started volunteering in church. I was helped with children's ministry as a teenager, and also the info table. But thinking back now, I think I did a lot of that because church was boring to me, so I didn't want to sit through a service. I was always really independent and wanted to do my own thing. I always felt like I knew better than my parents did, as most teenagers do, I think. I always felt like my parents were super strict and I hated all their rules. So when I met Ryan at youth, we started dating when I was 15, 16 because obviously I wasn't allowed to date. We eventually moved in together after many years of doing things we shouldn't secretly when we were about 20. And then we had Chloe. By this time, I decided I didn't believe in Jesus and I didn't need God. I had many experiences through work and church of hypocrisy in Christians. So in my head, I thought, why would I want to live a strict life and follow a religion that with a bunch of rules with people who weren't very nice, when I could just do my own thing and be nice and not really have any consequences in my head? That's what I thought. So after I had Chloe, I had major postpartum depression, a lot of anxiety, and I tried to cope with that through substance abuse. I was constantly looking for happiness in all the wrong places and eventually decided that I wasn't happy with Ryan, so we broke up. I went on dates with a lot of other guys and ended really quickly because I was looking for something that I know now you can't find from another person. I would desperately cry out to God alone in my room, just for relief from depression and suicidal thoughts, wondering to myself, why did I call out to God? Because I didn't even believe in a God. So that I know that He has always been pursuing me. I had a lot of difficulty with panic attacks, and panic attacks where I would hurt people, like kind of a rage panic where just trying to get a grip on reality and would physically hurt people and emotionally as well. Through these episodes, I was kicked out of the house that I was living in with roommates, and so Chloe and I moved out on our own. I found that what I thought was the perfect house. It was so cute. It had a beautiful backyard, perfect for our dog, and a cute little kitchen. We were moving in and we had boxes everywhere, the chaos of moving, so we weren't staying at the home. We were staying at my grandparents' house. I got a call at 2 a.m. on May 2nd, 2019, that our house was on fire and we had lost everything, including our dog. Right when I thought things were finally working out, it felt like my whole life was ripped from me. Being a single mom and needing to pay for a place and find a new place to live, I had to continue working. But I really struggled and I had panic attacks at work and I couldn't finish my jobs on time. And I felt like my boss didn't really have very much empathy for our situation, so I really hated going to work and being there altogether. My mom would tell me all the time, like, oh, you should move to 100 Mile, like, you'll be with family. And it made me really angry. I didn't want to move to 100 Mile. And I said to her many times, I will never live there. And I feel like God, he doesn't laugh at our pain, but he's laughing at the fact that, obviously I live here now. So one day I realized that it wasn't working. I had very little support where I was living. My mom said there was a job at Lake of the Trees Bible Camp, and I knew Mirko and Jeanette, and they were working there. They were longtime family friends with my parents, so they knew me when I was a kid and a teenager. And I had been working in the food service industry for many years at that point, and I even worked at a camp in Chilliwack before Chloe was born. So I was very qualified for the job, so I finally just said, sure, why not? Anything's better than what's happening right now. So after working at camp in 2019, I kept going back each summer, still a bit on the fence of what I believed in terms of faith. But Mirko, he would come in and ask me multiple times. He had asked me over the years, when are you going to join the team as a missionary? And I was like, yeah, no, being a missionary is not for me. And so, again, one of those moments, God's looking down and laughing. One night after working in the kitchen, I went back to my cabin and I was just hanging out. It was just a regular night, but I had a very strong encounter with God where I realized that he had been pursuing me this whole time and he'd never left me, and I was the one that had run away from him. So out loud, I just kind of out of nowhere, I was just like, I'm sorry I left you. And I broke down and cried and gave my life to the Lord again, just alone in a cabin one night. So a year later, I joined Lake of the Trees as a full-time missionary because I heard God say to me, in my brain, it was a thought, but I knew it was God, why isn't being a missionary for you? So it was that reminder that I said that one time. Through all these years, Ryan and I had still been friends, and he was still Chloe's dad. He came to family events. He was always part of the family. And one of these visits, he said to me, are you seeing anybody? I'd really like to court you. And I was very taken aback because I had not thought about him in that way for many years. He was not a follower of Jesus at the time. He was very skeptical of Christianity, but after many conversations about why I decided to become a Christian again, and he knew that I would not consider getting back together with him unless he made some major changes in his life. So he really started to consider and ask questions, and he gave his life to Jesus, and he got baptized here at CCLF. So now we are engaged to be married in September. After many years of running away from God, we are now running towards the Lord together, and we want to build our life on a foundation where Jesus is the center. And God has been very faithful to me and has made me aware of all the little hints that he's put through my life of his love and faithfulness to me. I learned later, during my darkest days in Chilliwack, that my parents, their home group, and their friends had been praying desperately for me to come back to the Lord. And some of those same people are really important to me in my life right now. And I didn't even know that those people had been praying for me. When I started going to young adults, one of my main prayer requests was often that Ryan would come to know the Lord. And now he's the one reminding me of that God has a plan for our family, and that even in the unknown, we can trust him. I know that God did not cause my suffering. He used my rock bottom moments to bring him glory and remind me that I can't just be a good person and not have any consequences. There are always consequences, but Jesus says in Matthew 11:28, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." And I need Jesus because the weight of my sin is heavy and the burden of life is heavy. but he will carry it. I'm constantly blown away by his answered prayers and the grace that he's given me through all these years. Because of his goodness and faithfulness to me, I can have faith that he will carry us through as he always has done.